of fear, distress, anxiety, and it all just bubbled up. And so me knocking stuff over and going into the bedroom and needing a moment to myself was all of that expressing this.
Listen, Michaela hasn't changed, bro. Michaela has not changed her manipulative, abusive ways. She has not changed. Months on, still the exact same way. All right. Let me tell you something. And she's not going to change until she gets the help she needs. Now, I know she said she'll see a therapist. She might need to change the therapist. That's what I'm going to say. Let's break down why I'm saying that she still hasn't changed her ways. We're going to use that end scene as an example of why she hasn't changed her ways. But if you're new to the channel, do me a favor, like it, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the up, lows. And for those of you who are returnees, but you know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there, they're hot, okay? All right, they're very hot. Let's play a little intro and then we'll get the show going.
Level black, you know what time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is. Time it is.
Yes, guys. So we're talking to you guys about Married at First Sight, and we're dealing with Michaela and Zach. And I wanna cushion it back on the start here. We're gonna watch clip by clip, motion by motion, and just kind of break down what you saw here, because they all watched the show back and saw how Michaela acted at the ranch. Okay, now Michaela's behavior again. She was triggered. But it wasn't Zach that was triggering her. She was triggered by her own insecurities and her own emotional wounds, which she then tries to project onto Zach and say it's his fault. That is where the manipulation and the abusive tendencies lie. It's very intentional. Okay, Hurricane has not changed since we saw her in the first episode, since her sister said to her, "You are Hurricane." Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Okay, she's going to continue doing what she's doing because the experts also do not know how to hold her accountable. Right, everybody's walking on eggshells around her and not giving Zach the support that he needs in terms of dealing with a partner. In fact, one point of the conversation with Dr. Pepper where she gave the most ludicrous commentary, and I mean ludicrous. Okay, right? And Dr. Pepper usually is on point, so I'm gonna call it a slip. I'm gonna call it a push production telltale. I'm gonna say that, you know, someone got to Dr. Pepper and just told her, listen, your life's on the line, because there is no way you are happily given the kind of advice that she actually gave Dr. Pepper about how Zach could have handled her differently. When someone's abusive, it don't matter how you handle them. It don't matter how you handle them. If they're abusive, there's nothing you can handle them with. They're gonna behave the exact same way. Right? Now, could there be a bit more emotional maturity in the way you respond to it? No, because if you do, you end up trying to stand your ground, and that's also going to be an issue. You stand your ground, she's going to cuss you. You walk away, she's going to cuss you. No matter what you do, because the person has an intent to be abusive and to be manipulative, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. Yeah, but the way that Dr. Pepper addressed Jose and his anger, completely different. Why was it completely different? Because of the way that we view sometimes women when they abuse men. Okay, all right. Now, I'm not going to say Zach is innocent. You already saw my video. I've apologized, but we're going to have to be real here. There is no need for Michaela's level of aptitude and energy she brings to every single time they interact with Zach. And I'm going to show you that as we watch along. Let's watch a little bit of this.
But it is something that I can look back and laugh at and be like, damn, I did do that. And what I did was not okay. And
now I hear her. She said what I did was not okay, but she said I can look back at it and laugh. Yeah, but probably might not be the best thing to say when the person who you abuse is in the room with you. Right now, don't get twisted. You can look back and be like, oh my gosh, that's what I did. I was moving mad, da da da. But you don't do that when it's still live, and you don't do that when it's just past. Right? The situation hasn't fully finished. Like the person still feels some type of way about the whole situation, and you're out here saying, I could laugh at the situation. How could you laugh? Except you don't take it seriously what you did. How can you laugh unless you don't take the consequences of what you did seriously? How can you laugh unless you don't know how much it impacted the other person? Right? But Michaela's not concerned with that. Her concern is to flip the narrative onto Zach to blame him for her behavior.
I need to learn how to calm down, honestly. I remember in the moment when I saw Zach.
Now you can see people looking at her, Rachel and Jose looking at her. Rachel looks like, you know, or big-eyed there looking at her like, what the heck? Like, no one's buying what you're saying, because at the ranch we saw it live, right? And the problem with Michaela is that if this was without cameras, she would have lied compulsively. She would have lied absolutely to the hilt if it had not been for the cameras to catch her in her own lie. And she would lie here some more. She would lie here some more if it hadn't been for the cameras. Right? Had the cameras not been at the ranch, she'd have lied her way through. Right? She would have lied her way through. Let's watch a bit more.
Back out and literally leave. I had an overwhelming sense of fear, distress, anxiety.
I had an overwhelming sense of stress, anxiety. I'm sure you did. But that wasn't to do with Zach. That's to do with you and how you respond to certain situations. That is to do with you and the way you go about your things. That is to do with you and the way that you're interpreting the information. And now you're using that to project, weaponize against Zach. Again, I'm saying he's not innocent. He's got his ways. But there's no way the ranch situation was to do with him. The ranch situation was all you. All you.
And it all just bubbled up. And so me knocking stuff over and going into the bedroom and needing a moment to myself was.
So she's going to try and rationalize why she had to throw over things and go into the room for a moment for herself. She's going to rationalize it to make it seem natural and normal. It's not natural. It's not normal. Baby, listen, it's not natural. It's not normal. You can't rationalize this level of madness, right? You went in there, you pushed the table around, you flipped over a bench, you stormed out of a door, you told Ryan to F off, you know, that whole entire day. You were abusive the whole entire day, right? And someone might say, well, she never hit nobody. It doesn't matter. She can get there. You ever seen a man punch a table before when he's dealing with his wife, right? That is enough. That's all it requires. That act of aggression is enough to say, I got to be very careful here. I've got to consider the fact that somebody might actually do me harm because they're willing to punch objects the way they are with no self-control. That is a problem.
All of that expressing itself in a physical form. Now, I would never hurt anybody physically, right? Because if I wanted to do something physical, I would have.
Sorry? If I wanted to do something physical, I would have. Says every person who does something stupid. Oh, if I wanted to do that, I would have done it by now. No, Cap. You're sis, you're getting there. You know, at one point, you remember in the bedroom scene situation where he said, obviously, you're pushing me onto the bed, right? You've already started moving from verbal to physical. And I always say this, emotional abusers always end up moving towards the physical abuse, right? Because that's the natural progression of your behavior. Now, some people generally will stay, but you are moving towards the physical abuse stuff. So how can we say hand on heart that you wouldn't do that when you're tossing tables over? Right? You're not just emotionally manipulating, you're tossing tables over, moving pool tables, and you're telling us we wouldn't know. You should know that if I want to do something, I could do something. I wouldn't do it. How can I trust you when you're turning over tables? How can we trust you when you're turning over benches? How can we trust you and trust your word? Right? But you want to flip it on our boy. All right, let's play a little bit more.
But it was I'm panicking. Automatically, my mind goes to my dad, right? He was
this dad's excuse is getting a bit old and a bit tired. Like, I mean, listen, don't get it twisted. I'm with you. Dad, dying and passing is very difficult, but he didn't abandon you, sis. It's something that you heard from Dr. Cowell weeks earlier, and you've weaponized it every single time you make a problem or a mistake or make or be abusive. You start to bring out the cards of my father passed away and I've got abandonment issues. That doesn't make you pass when you move mad. That the fact that my dad passed away doesn't mean you have an excuse to behave so poorly as you have done throughout the whole of this case. And it gets worse. It's not going to stop there.
Middle of the night, upset, driving, got hit by a drunk driver. And I was asking him, please just wait until the...
Even Rachel looks fed up. It's just like, even they are smelling the cock and ball. They're like, brother, this girl is obviously overdoing it. How can she say, oh, my father passed away, that's why I didn't want to go away. But then you're literally stopping him from leaving, holding his luggage, taking him into the room, saying, obviously, I'm petty. What's that? If you're saying that scene was all about, the fact that you didn't want him to leave because you were scared that something could happen to him, but you were out here saying, but I'm petty. What do you think is going to happen, sis, when you start verbally abusing him? What do you think is going to happen when you start admitting that you're petty? We're going to take you as petty because that's what you said you are. What do you want to do about that?
More time. I will leave you alone. I won't come near you. I get it. You don't want to be near me. That's cool. But can you just wait, man? Like,
so after abusing me, you want me to soothe you and stay in the room where you abused me. You want to abuse me, and then for me to come and stay with you whilst you abuse me. What was the words that Zach said at the time? He said that he felt unsafe, right? Since we're going to be taking Miller's word on unsafe. He felt unsafe, and that's why he had to leave. And I thought it was fair enough, and I think everyone thought it was fair enough. So where do you get off trying to flip the narrative now? And I keep saying this, flipping the narrative to say that you weren't feeling safe and you felt like he was the one doing you dirty, as if he was the one that's doing you pain, right?
that was my issue. And every time I see it and every time I think back to that moment, I get emotional because that hurt me. And Zach does not regret it.
Why should he regret it? How can he regret making a decision where he had to leave because he was in danger emotionally and potentially physically? Why would he feel some type of way about it? Please tell me. Someone give me a good reason as to why. Right? Give me a good reason. Okay?
And it's vindictive.
You notice how she shifted it onto him? Do you notice how she turned onto him? It's mean, it's painful, it's hurtful, and it's vindictive. It's mean, it's hurtful, and vindictive. What? Because I decided to walk away because I told you that you were pressing my buttons. Because I decided to walk away because you were breaking my boundaries. I decided to walk away because you were being mean and being verbally abusive. And yet when I move, that's when you start trying to throw in the tears to try and show us that actually, oh no, guy, that's not how it is. Sis, we saw on the screen. Can't lie to us. Can't lie to us, sis. You know what I'm saying?
Look, man, I was very clear why I left. I'm a grown man. I'm not an idiot. I would not.
Now, this apology, it's not even an apology. I think he was going. I don't think he was even going to fully apologize. I think what was going to happen was he was just going to go and say, you know, that he understands where she's coming from, but that's not what his intentions was, and leave it at that. But it goes further, right? It goes further.
Michaela, you have to let him answer. He is trying to apologize right now. You have to give him.
Okay,
Let's literally just express how I feel.
All right, so now this is the most important part. When we're talking about Michaela being abusive and not changing, this is the most important part, right? She's asked him to acknowledge her feelings, right? And the fact that her feelings are not being acknowledged. And listen to what he's going to say in return to her.
Felt in that situation, and I asked to be acknowledged in that feeling. He don't give a he doesn't care.
Wait.
You don't.
We're not going to care if you abused us in that moment. We're not going to care. For all we care about, fam, at that moment is that you're not in our life. Or at least I got rid of you in that moment. Or at least I got away from you that moment. And therefore, I spared myself pain. I'm not going to regret sparing myself pain when you're inflicting it. I'm not going to feel no bad way about it because you were the one that was being aggressor in this situation. And it's going to show up itself again. Watch.
Don't care, and
Okay,
you
hold on,
never cared
Hold on,
about me.
Michaela, hold on. Let him answer.
I'm so sorry that it hurt you. That was not
He
my.
don't mean that. Shut up.
He don't mean that. Shut up. Need I say more? The girl hasn't changed. She isn't going to change until she gets a better therapist. Hurricane K is here to stay. Okay? All right? And the reason why she's here to stay is because nobody holds her accountable and because nobody tells her to stop doing what she's doing. Okay? No older man, no more serious man, no man that's more secure is going to be able to make her feel comfortable because she needs healing. She shouldn't skip her healing days. Like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked. Stay lit.
Little black boy. You know what time it is.
I guess we're not going to be going out then.